And I'm not saying allegedly, Curtis. I know what you've been doing. You don't get no about what happens to those people in that town, but I do. Truth is, Curtis is a swish. Been a swish for many years. Everyone knows it.
So last night she implied that 50 Cent is gay. The boys in the audience were like, ow, that's one for our side.
50 Cent just got caught up in the most humiliating leak of his career. Jaguar Wright just dropped a freak-off tape that allegedly shows 50 in ways no one expected, and it's not with women. The footage is spreading fast, and the streets are already buzzing, whispering that this might be worse than anything Diddy has been accused of. 50 is losing it, going on an unhinged rant against Jaguar, but the damage is already done. We all know 50 Cent is the self-proclaimed king of exposing people's secrets. For years, he's been calling out Diddy, hinting at freak-offs and wild industry parties, acting like he's above it all. But what happens when the exposer gets exposed? Jaguar has been making waves for a while now, shining a light on the dark underbelly of the music industry. So when she aimed her fire at 50 Cent, people paid attention. She didn't just hint or insinuate, she flat-out claimed that 50 has been involved in the very things he's accused others of. But if y'all think this accusation came out of nowhere, let's take a trip back to 2010. The internet has receipts for days, and one of the first things people dug up was that infamous XXL magazine cover.
First time we met, you came out off. The first time that we met was in BT.
Yeah, backstage.
I was getting a haircut. And, when was that? 106 Fall. I think 106
And I came in the dressing room.
Yep, that was the first time.
Yeah, I ran back there because, like, I was always excited about the idea of something.
Back then, people side-eyed it, but they didn't think too much of it. But in 2024, that cover is looking real different. Let's break it down. 50 Cent standing behind a shirtless soldier boy, holding onto his chain, pants hanging low, looking like someone's kept secret. The stance, the positioning, the energy, it was giving something else.
If you Google the cover, 50's wearing like all white, like tight, and then he's got a mask over his head, and he's got his hand around Soldier Boy. It looked kind of booty bandish-ish. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
At the time, people joked about it looking weird. But Vivica A. Fox later used it as evidence when she hinted that 50 might be on the DL. And now, with Jaguar's allegations circulating, people are connecting the dots Vivica tried to tell us years ago, but nobody listened. Back in 2003, 50 and Vivica were that couple. He was at the peak of his rap career. She was one of the biggest actresses in the game, and together they were unstoppable. But their romance didn't last long. Years later, Vivica sat down with Vlad TV and got real nostalgic about their relationship, admitting that all the media attention killed the vibe.
I was used to fame, you know, and the main thing that what the relationship was that we just went way too public, way too fast. The love that I had for him, and still to this day, will always, like, he was the love of my life. I will admit that without any reservations. He will always have a very special place in my heart. But the reason why the relationship ended was because we just went public way too fast, had way too many people in our business. And
she straight up called 50 the love of her life and said she'd do things differently if she had a second chance. That had people in their feelings, but when 50 got wind of the interview, he didn't exactly swoon. Instead, he basically co-signed what Vivica said about too many outside opinions ruining things.
Seems to have been like the world's most amazing boyfriend. Chelsea Handler had great things to say about you. Vivica Fox, she said that you are still the love of her life. Do you have a response to that?
Well, no, I don't. I'm not never bothered by when she says that. You know what I'm saying? Because you say, if you just the timing. At the time that we actually interacted with each other, there was we weren't conscious of everything else that's going on. So she'll always say, if you listen to her, she'll say, I would have been private.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had as many people in y'all's business.
Right, because when it got so uncomfortable with everybody else, like when you get pushed and pulled in different directions without it being even her decision.
Right.
Her publicist is saying, do this. This person is, you do this.
Apparently, it wasn't just them calling the shots, it was managers, publicists, and everyone in between. And just like that, their fairy tale romance crumbled. Then Vivica went and stirred the pot again. While on Watch What Happens Live, she casually threw out a little something extra about 50. She implied that there was something off about him back then, something that just wasn't clear. When Andy Cohen brought up 50 saying,
What are your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black is all I'm saying.
Ooh. The pot calling the kettle black. Huh.
Whoa. That was some tea. That was shade. That was major shade.
Pot calling the kettle black. So, I mean, you're not insinuating that
he's gay?
50 Cent is...
Now, let's be clear, Vivica didn't directly say 50 Cent was gay, but everyone knew exactly what she meant.
Not insinuating that
he's
50
gay?
Cent is...
Oh, my Lord, please.
And she brought up that same XXL magazine cover as proof that something was off.
We had a great time, I mean, but he's just seems like he's got something that's not quite clear. So
you mean sometimes if people protest too much about something,
yes,
the fire is happening right there in front of them.
Absolutely. I just never forget there was a Vibe cover with him and Soulja Boy that made me kind of go
50. And Soulja weren't about to let that slide. Soulja Boy kicked things off by posting a highly unflattering picture of Vivica with the caption, "Everybody hit up this, she's single and ready to mingle." And 50? Oh, he went full petty mode, clowning Vivica for years after that. But he didn't stop there. He took things to a whole different level. He jumped right under Soulja's comment and added his own special spin, cracking jokes about Vivica allegedly licking his behind. Yeah, he went there. He even referenced 50 Shades of Grey like he was living in a romance novel he never signed up for. Then, in an interview, he literally said this.
Instagram. Oh no, because I let her lick my he thinks I'm gay.
He clowned Vivica hard, even comparing her to a trans man, saying they had the same features, he was out for blood. Meanwhile, Soulja Boy tried to play it cool, saying his connection with 50 was solid and that without 50 there would be no Soulja Boy. And while they were busy hyping each other up, people started side-eyeing their friendship, wondering if maybe, just maybe, Vivica was on to something.
This is kid 50 Cent and with Soulja Boy, he's sharpening them up right now. Feels good, you know what I mean? My man is highest thing on the street right now. You see me learn to dance on Rap City. If you ain't seen, you better go. You know that? You don't want. We're getting it going. But I like Soulja Boy. I like Soulja Boy a lot.
Vivica did eventually apologize to Soulja Boy, but when it came to 50, she didn't say a word. Instead, she doubled down, claiming everything 50 said about their relationship was a lie. But here's the thing. If the rumors weren't true, why were they so mad? If it was all lies, wouldn't they have just laughed it off? Instead, they went into full attack mode. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Apparently, Soulja has been in the mix for a while now, and we're not just talking about his music career. Word on the street is that he's been passed around like an industry favor, and the latest receipts? They've got his name written all over them. And then the bomb dropped. An alleged former partner of Soulja Boy came forward in an interview, spilling all the details about their secret relationship.
Soulja Boy back in April when he came to Niagara Falls, and me and him swapped numbers through his friend, whatever, Jaguar Wright, and me and him just been kicking it for a little while, and until about last month where I told him, like, he gotta stop living in a lie. You gotta stop pretending like you not gay because it's...
And when I say details, I mean text messages, receipts, and even gifts that Soulja supposedly bought to keep the man quiet. We're talking Dadi designer bags, a puppy named Treasure, and a whole lot of industry maneuvering to keep the situation under wraps.
The dog, a month and a half ago, and her name is Treasure. He also bought me the Gucci bag, the dog carrier bag, and it's real. So I'm feeling like if I'm being treated like a sidekick, I'm telling everything. I got the text messages and everything.
The situation got even weirder when an old Instagram live between Niase, Soulja Boy, and Nicki Minaj resurfaced. And if you haven't seen it, it's real interesting. At one point, Nicki straight up asked him if he knew of any DL rappers, and his reaction said it all.
Undercover brothers in the industry.
Oh no, Queen. We don't know nothing about undercovers. Oh no. We don't know about that.
Okay. Because I do.
You said what?
Oh, I said I...
The way that man straightened up and started fumbling through. His words, y'all, it was giving panic. He avoided answering, laughed awkwardly, and kept dodging the question because at this point, the math is mathing. Meanwhile, Vivica kept going off in other interviews, including one with Wendy Williams.
The bigger person. And so I walked over to him, and we sat. I gave him a hug. We talked for a few minutes, and that was that. And hopefully
a few minutes time.
And even in 2023 on Sherry Shepherd's show, she admitted she still had deep feelings for him.
Love with you, girl. Would you ever think about getting back together with Mr. Curtis Jackson if he came?
Well, Ben and Jen did it again. Why not?
He wasn't exactly on the same page. In a throwback post, he shared a clip of his 2003 BET Awards speech, the moment he first flirted with Vivica publicly. But his caption was straight up cold. I look back at some of the I did and gotta learn to shut up. Look at that look at the end, that's trouble. WTF. He basically called their whole relationship a mistake. And this is where the streets really started talking, because it wasn't just Vivica hinting at something about 50 other whispers had been floating around for years. Blind items started circulating about a rapper who always called out others for being on the DL, but allegedly threw the same kinds of parties himself. Then there was that time singer Rufus Wainwright, who is openly gay, professed his love for 50 and said, I know he's gay. Feel free to call me anytime. And let's not forget the game while dropping some cryptic comments about 50's preferences back in the day. Then enter Daphne Joy 50's ex and the mother of his son. After 50 started going in on Diddy for his rumored freak-off lifestyle, Daphne had enough. She clapped back, hinting that 50 needed to worry about his own past before pointing fingers. She all but confirmed that whatever 50 accused Diddy of, he might have had a little experience with too. But see, things didn't stop there. After Vivica spilled her tea, Jaguar Wright decided to add her 2 cents. And baby, if Jaguar is speaking on you, you might as well pack it up, because if there's one thing about Jaguar, she's gonna tell it all. Now, this is where things start looking real suspicious, because 50 Cent has spent years accusing people of being DL. You name a rapper, 50 has probably called them gay at some point. Take out Diddy, 50 has constantly posted shady pictures of him at parties, hinting that something was off. Even a Rick Ross, 50's enemy for life. Remember when he posted those edited pics of Diddy and Ross looking a little too cozy? Well, turns out they might not have been too far off in real life either. Or the one with Diddy and Steve Stout, both rocking pink outfits, 50 basically implying that something was up. And according to Jaguar, there's a reason. 50 is so obsessed with calling people out because he knows the game a little too well.
It seems like 50 Cent is trying to take down Diddy.
No, he's trying to move Diddy and Jay-Z out the way so he can run it. And the truth is, I ain't mad at him. I just don't.
It's been a pattern, and for a while, people just assumed 50 was trolling. But now, people are starting to think it might be projection, like Why is 50 always talking about other men's business if he's totally straight? Jaguar blew the lid off this theory when she started dropping even more allegations. And baby, she went all the way in. She claimed that 50 had been calling out gay celebrities for years while secretly hiding his own skeletons. According to her, 50 was the one who introduced Soulja Boy to that side of the industry. And not only did she say it, she claims she saw it, as in she allegedly watched a whole tape of Soulja Boy and 50 Cent getting to it.
Old picture, I get an old picture of Soulja Boy when he was 15, and I bet you get as gentle as a lamb.
I know it, Jack. We got the number.
Allegedly, 50 Cent, Soulja Boy, and other men were involved in a secret industry party, and that's not all. Jaguar even hinted that Soulja Boy had been passed around, claiming that 50 Cent was the one who introduced him to the scene. If this is true, it would mean 50 Cent has been deep in the same industry circles he constantly exposes. It's giving hypocrisy at the highest level.
Down in Shreveport acting a fool, but I ain't gonna put you in there.
Yeah, Shreveport doing what?
Acting a fool.
And she didn't stop there. Soulja Boy wasn't the only one caught up in that kind of scene. Jaguar suggested that 50 had some things go down while he was in prison, and even had to pay people off hard to keep quiet about it. And then, boom, the XXL magazine cover drama came right back up. Jaguar doubled down, saying everybody knew something was off with that shoot. She called out the way E50 was standing over Soulja, like he was showing him off. And she didn't forget to mention that weird BDSM-looking mask 50 was wearing. She basically said the cover was a whole message in itself, and we just weren't catching it.
You should ask Soulja Boy how loving he is. He's very loving. All that time they spent together and the way he believed in him. Oh my God. They were almost inseparable. Truth is, Curtis is a swish. Been a swish for many years. Everyone knows it.
Oh, and let's not forget about the house Jaguar brought up.
Jackson lied to everybody. Why doesn't Curtis Jackson tell people that he has a house in Carrollton, and he's had a house in Carrollton for over 7 years? That he comes down here, getting a lay of the land, hiring private investigators to follow people around. Why didn't he tell anybody that Millennium Studios, which is now G-Unit Studios, was already there? Why is he pretending like he built it from the ground up? He didn't. He bought it. I know Millennium. I used to go there all the time.
It did exist.
Yeah, I know. So why did he lie to everybody? Why did he tell everybody his studio was going to be in Texas? Why did he keep it so quiet? Why did nobody...
Y'all already know Mike Tyson's house had a crazy reputation back in the day. And according to Jaguar, those wild parties didn't stop when 50 bought it.
Just like Mike Tyson. Does every time Mike Tyson stuck his... makes him any less the that he is in the ring? See, and I think that's the problem. People don't understand when it comes to this hypersexuality in hip-hop and masculinity. A lot of people don't realize a lot of the archetypes and everything that they built on are built around Roman soldiers, Greek soldiers, who use butt breaking as a way to trauma bond with each other so that they would kill for each other on the field. You got to think about it. Real soldiers back in those days, they didn't spend a lot of time around women. Women were something that happened or something that you did to have babies with. Most of your time was spent with the men in the field.
And then she dropped the real bombshell. Jaguar claimed that 50 Cent had encounters in prison and paid people to keep quiet about it. That's why, according to her, he never directly denies anything. Instead, he just clowns people to distract from it.
In another kind of way. He don't want things to change. He just want to be the one that's running it. See? Easiest thing to do is to take your enemy's feet and hold them to the fire for things you know that they won't.
According to Jaguar, he should just come out of the closet.
Out of him. I'd have more respect for him if he came out the closet.
It seems like...
Because he's a lot more Bogart than Brooke.
And let's not forget the whole Diddy situation, because remember when 50 was out here claiming Diddy tried to take him on an all-expenses-paid shopping spree?
Now, ask me, could he take me shopping? And it fucked me up because I'm looking like,
At the time, everyone laughed it off as 50 just clowning Diddy, but looking back, maybe. Diddy wasn't shooting his shot at just anyone. Maybe he knew on something we didn't. Because let's be real, Diddy doesn't approach men unless he knows there's a chance. And if our 50 was really as straight as he claims, why was Diddy so comfortable like making that kind of offer? After Jaguar's accusations started gaining traction, 50 Cent suddenly stopped talking about Diddy. Suspicious, right? People started wondering if he was scared because maybe that tape actually exists.
They won't admit. Which is why when that C&D came out, he took all of that Diddy down. Because of his tape.
Jaguar made it clear 50 could troll all he wanted, but she wasn't backing down. She challenged him to sue her if she was lying, and guess what? Nothing happened. No lawsuits, no clapbacks, no Instagram posts from my 50's burner accounts. Just silence. Some fans might completely believe Jaguar, saying I-50's reaction is telling. Others think Jaguar is clout chasing. But if that's true, why hasn't 50 Cent sued yet? If it was all lies, wouldn't he shut it down immediately? At least, that's what fans are saying. One comment read, if 50 don't come after her or sue her, she ain't lying. Because we all know how petty 50 is. So what do y'all think? Did Jaguar Wright just drop the biggest bomb on 50 Cent's image? Or is this just another wild industry rumor? The drama isn't over, and you already know we'll be back with more updates. Make sure to check out our next video, because if you think this is crazy, wait until you hear what's going on over there.